Hello, and welcome to my mini presentation on professional paramedic practice. My name is Monique Reid, and today I will be exploring the roles of experiential learning and clinical debriefing, focusing on their relevance to the role of paramedicine. Throughout history and into current times, many great professors and researchers have delved into the various underpinnings behind learning in order to answer the questions: what phases do individuals enter throughout their learning experience, and how does each differ in their unique approaches to learning? In 1984, David Kolb published a theoretical approach to define a four-stage cycle and four unique learning styles undertaken during an individual's learning experience. Kolb developed his theory upon the simple basis that learning occurs through knowledge transition from new experiences. The first of Kolb's stages falls within the concrete experience through which the individual is actually involved and partakes in completion of an assigned task. This initial step requires active participation in order for one to gain knowledge through their own involvement in the activity. The second stage in Kolb's cycle is expressed through reflective observation, whereby review and deliberation of the experience undertaken thus far occurs. The individual steps back and opens communication channels for discussion and analysis of what has been completed and experienced. Abstract conceptualization forms the third phase in Kolb's cycle, where the individual begins to process and interpret their new experiences. They will compare and contrast what has been completed through reflection on what they already know, and form conclusions on the learning undertaken from the experience. Kolb's fourth and final stage of the experiential learning cycle comprises active experimentation, where the individual assesses what they have learnt and how this can be applied into their practice. By transitioning learning into a context relevant to one's own life, the individual's understanding and comprehension of the new experience is far more likely to remain within their field of knowledge and be utilised into future planning and practice. Kolb further extends his notational approach to learning by integrating four various learning styles into his theory of experiential learning. He describes these styles under the categories of the diverging learner, the assimilating, the converging, and the accommodating learner. The diverging learner is sensitive, watching rather than doing, and prefers to analyze with a different perspective. This category of learners are greatly utilized for brainstorming, generating ideas, and gathering a broad range of information. The divergent learner performs best when working among groups, where they are able to listen, receive feedback, and employ their imaginative and emotional characteristics into learning and creating. On the other hand, the assimilating learner prefers a more concise, clear, and logical approach to ideas and learning concepts. These individuals tend to preference their focus more on the idea and arranging it into a logical format than actual interaction with people. The assimilating learner finds themselves drawn to abstract concepts and theories formed through logically sound approaches, preferring to learn through lectures, readings, or exploration of analytical models. Individuals with a converging learning style focus on solving problems and tasks at hand by utilizing their learnt knowledge to generate solutions to practical issues. These people are experimenters, toying with new ideas and simulating solutions through practical application. Last but not least, the accommodating learner employs a more hands-on approach, relying on intuition over logic and attracting new experiences and challenges to take on. They will incorporate other individuals' analysis and act on gut instincts over logistics to enact solutions and solve problems. This notion of experiential learning, developed by David Kolb, is vital in the profession of paramedicine, as it identifies that individuals have unique learning styles which will impact on the way they learn and generate knowledge. As Kolb's theory is generated from the underpinning concept of learning through undertaking new experiences, the notion can be transferred through to paramedic students and beyond into the professional role of paramedicine, where the greatest source of new knowledge is delivered through various learning environments. The transition of a paramedic student through undergraduate training and into professional registration occurs in various simulated and real-life contexts, thus fitting the four phases defined in Kolb's theoretical experiential learning. Each student will generally adhere to one category of Kolb's learning styles. understanding the variances in an individual's learning characteristics as defined through Kolb's theoretics encourages lecturers, tutors, and educators to assist students and professionals in developing knowledge from experience through platforms to suit each unique learning style. In addition to understanding the theoretics of Kolb's 4 phases of experiential learning and 4 unique learning styles, paramedic students and professional paramedics partake in practice of clinical debriefing. This is a process of information sharing and event processing, which includes 2 or more people involved in a particular event or situation. The individuals from the relevant context will gather together and discuss the past events, including a detailed analysis of decisions made, actions implemented, and reflection on outcomes observed. Clinical debriefing plays a vital role in the world of paramedicine as it encourages critical analysis and reflection into decisions to inform future performance and ensure best possible practices provided to each and every patient. Throughout the years of undergraduate study, a paramedic student is involved in numerous clinical simulations, facilitating training and practice of potentially real-life cases. These simulations may begin from simple training of taking vital signs or communicating professionally with a patient, through to highly complex cases such as traumatic brain injuries or acute myocardial infarctions. Regardless of the depth or breadth of techniques and practice involved, each various training simulation should conclude with a thorough clinical debrief. This allows for students to step back, converse with those who observe the scenario, and together critically analyse the procedures undertaken, management and treatment provided, and overall outcome of the simulation. As learning occurs through experience and practice, this concept of clinical debriefing introduces students to a model of teaching which permits for active participation of all involved, regardless of the role they played in the simulation. This form of reflective learning centers on the idea of encouraging students to learn, develop, construct, and reconstruct ideas in practice. To ensure paramedic students are gaining the desired outcome, a clinical debrief will be well structured and completed in an organized and positive approach. Each debrief should be uniquely structured to fit the particular simulation and desired learning outcomes from the case presented. It is the role of the educator and the students to actively participate in the debrief for optimal results to ensue. Whilst clinical debriefing is vital in the learning and development within a paramedic student's transition through university, it is not limited to students alone. This process should occur within the professional practicum of all practicing paramedics, no matter what level of experience or role held in the chain of hierarchy. A paramedic's wealth of knowledge is never linear, attending and experiencing various cases presenting a range of different and new knowledge and practice. While certain cases such as chest pains or elderly falls may become a regular job attended, no 2 patients present the same, thus no 2 jobs are completed in the same manner with the exact same communication, treatment, or management. Case-appropriate clinical debriefing encourages practicing paramedics to take a step back, critically think about and analyse the different steps undertaken, and thus implement changes for future practice. Clinical debriefing is fundamental for a paramedic to ensure continuation of improvements and adaptations to various scenarios. However, it can also facilitate positive feedback and provide further reward and encouragement for practice well performed. It can thus be concluded that understanding the various stages to learning, such as those defined by David Kolb, is imperative to ensuring both paramedic students and practicing paramedics receive appropriate training. Kolb's theory of experiential learning can be employed in paramedicine training as it defines learning occurring through active participation in new experiences. To further enhance this way of teaching, educators, students, and professional paramedics alike would benefit from an overall understanding of Kolb's 4 learning styles and how to adapt teaching to ensure all individuals gain the best possible results and knowledge from new experiences. This can be further consolidated in the processes involved within clinical debriefing, ensuring that all participants whether from a simulated training exercise or real-life case, are addressed and provided the opportunity to learn and share their experiences in a format relevant to their suitable learning style. Clinical debriefing is a vital process for training and practicing paramedics, regardless of experience or professional role. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation on experiential learning and clinical debriefing. I will continue to endeavour to develop my understanding of their roles in professional practice, and I will ensure I continue to utilise the clinical debriefing throughout my career in paramedicine and beyond.